Hi and welcome to the 7-day pelvic floor challenge. So my name's Tara Darlington, for those of you who don't know me, and I've had 6 children, and over the years with my own children, my own births, as well as working with so many women, I've really come to realise that Kegel exercises just aren't the way, which sort of makes sense since it was a man designed it in the 50s or something. You know, it really doesn't. I've met so many women who have been doing Kegel exercises for quite some years and just not getting the results that they want. So what was the most interesting is when I started doing energy healing, I really started to see what was going on for women with their pelvic floor. Now, our pelvic floor sits in our base chakra, and our base chakra is about our sense of security, safety, our true foundation, our tribe, so much more. And until we start addressing these other things, the pelvic floor doesn't seem to really, the Kegel exercises don't really seem to do what we want them to do. Not to mention the fact that personally I don't want to sit around doing Kegel exercises at the traffic lights and here and there. It's just another burden on our day. So in so many ways it just doesn't really work. So what I'm going to teach you this week is firstly a few other techniques that will surprise you, that will really help your pelvic floor. They're really simple. And also how to do what we call in yoga mula bandha, which is sort of like a Kegel exercise, but sounds much nicer in yoga as mula bandha, which is that lift of the pelvic floor in our everyday life. So we're not having to stop and do exercises, but every time we lift the washing, we lift up children, we lift up shopping, we walk upstairs, we're engaging the pelvic floor, and so that it becomes just a lifelong habit and something we don't have to think about. And that's what I want for you guys, okay? So one of the first things that we need to look at is the fact that the pelvic floor, self-care is a massive part of an energy that's sitting in the pelvic floor, and taking time out for yourself, right? Now, we're not meant to be upright on our feet all day, every day, martyring along. It's too much pressure on the pelvis, on the ligaments, on the muscles. And in fact, it's quite interesting to see more evidence starting to come through in research how human beings were supposed to have a siesta. Some self-care also means that you're trusting that everything will be okay if you take 5 minutes out, that other people will step up to the plate. The life will not fall apart if you take 5 minutes out. And that is the energy that's sitting deeply in that base chakra, which is the energy that's sitting in our pelvic floor. So the first thing that I want you to do, which is just so simple, is to find 2 to 5 minutes. Once you're there, you might be happy to stay longer. 2 to 5 minutes a day to lie on your back with your legs up the wall. Now I'm going to post a photo for you in the group so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So you're going to lie with your legs up the wall with a small towel or cushion or bolster underneath your hips. So this is doing a few things. 1, you get to rest, which you probably need. 2, you're letting all of your pelvic floor and your organs and everything just have a rest from being pulled down by gravity and be actually pulled back into place by gravity, by you lying down. Now, by putting a small towel under your back, you're actually going to lift your hips up just a tiny bit. They don't need to be elevated high. Literally a hand towel rolled up is enough, or you might prefer something more. And I want you to just lie there for 2 to 5 minutes a day, and you will start to feel better straight away. So we're going to give our pelvic floor a rest, and we're going to start to bring all your organs and everything back into position. But we're also energizing the base chakra with self-care and with allowing ourselves to say, okay, if I stop for a couple of minutes, my life won't fall apart, the world won't fall apart. In fact, I'm going to feel better, okay? And that is a deep trust thing in our foundation that we're activating there. Okay, so what I need you to do is post into the Facebook group when you're going to do this, when and where. Are you going to do it in the morning, when you get home from work, after you drop the kids from school, before you pick the kids up from school, when you get home from dropping the kids off, before you go to bed? You know, ideally, I think the afternoon is ideal time to do this, to take a couple of minutes, and just put your legs up the wall and just rest. Now, if this is not comfortable on your back for any reason, so perhaps your back's out and you have a sore back, you can also just lie on the couch with your knees bent, with something under your knees, a couple of cushions, okay? Or lying on the couch with your feet up over the arms of the couch, okay? So ideally legs up the wall with a small towel rolled up under your lower back, under your hips rather. If that's not comfortable, there's a couple of other variations, but basically we want to flex our hips and give our whole body a rest from being pulled on by gravity and the whole of our life and all the expectations that we have. Okay, so post into your Facebook group, into the group, under this video, so we keep it all together, when and where and how you're going to do this first step to a really true recovery in your pelvic floor. All right, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.